2020 was going to be our year. We, as a family, and we had planned out an entire year of trips and concerts, sporting events, weddings, and hopefully 2 graduations. And then within 2 weeks, here I am worrying about buying hand sanitizer and all this crazy stuff. And I didn't have any masks, but a friend of mine in Plano came over and delivered a mask to me that very first weekend, dropped it on my patio while I was out running errands. That was such a blessing that she did that for me and had that concern for me and my well-being.
Became real that Thursday when they canceled the NBA. That was shocking to me that in one fell swoop, it was like the god of entertainment came crashing down in America. I never thought that that would happen. I think like most Americans, I didn't think it would touch us.
It became real to me when everybody was home. Brock was home from work. All the kids were home from school and stayed home. We were here for a while.
So the pandemic became real when I realized my kids weren't going to go back to school anytime soon. When we started deleting stuff off of our family calendar. When we realized we didn't have any masks, which meant we couldn't go anywhere. When we realized that we needed to stock things up at home and went to the store and the toilet paper was gone and the meat was gone, and just recognizing that this wasn't going to be a short-term reality for us.
But in my job, I saw it very quickly, simply because of the change in work that I needed to do was not like it was before. We had members of the congregation here who were reacting much, much differently than they did before. And I started recognizing that it made a mental change in them, and it affected them personally and their personal lives. And when I saw that coming, I thought this could last a while.
It became real to me on the Sunday that I was at home for the first time.
The pandemic became real to me the first time I've ever seen Ed stressed. We were like working one day and then all of a sudden we were like doing everything virtual and I just saw him just take a breath and I was like, oh, now it's real.
Seeing everybody having to wear the mask and hearing about all the casualties and stuff.
Say it was March 12th because I started things that I'd been reading and watching on TV showed that they were going to close the nursing homes. I wouldn't be able to see my mom. So I went and saw her on that day. And then the next day we got the call from the nursing home that no more visitors. That's when it became real and I knew I wouldn't get to see her.
Became super real for me when my mom called me. It was early in March, right after everything kind of shut down and she wasn't feeling well. And she had to go to the emergency room to get her appendix out. Trying to find her a doctor and then going to the hospital where everything was just very, very different was the first time that I saw the pandemic outside of the walls of my home. When I was at the hospital and thinking, wow, this is big and this is real.
The pandemic became real for me last March. The first weekend in March, I had gone home for my mother's funeral. And the very next weekend, I had planned to attend my great niece's wedding. So we went in that second weekend in March. I was amazed of how things had, from one week to the next, had almost just shut down. There was hardly no one in the hotel. We were given taken out bags for breakfast. All of a sudden, people were wearing masks. And it was just very evident that things were suddenly different.